Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to the Daily. Today we're going to be discussing why some of you might be feeling like, you've maybe had some hip, knee, shoulder injuries, and kind of discussing why a lot of these things have happened. Some people have maybe had, popped some ribs out before, things like that. So just kind of maybe a very easy, can be a very easy solution or something easy to kind of cross off the list to start working back into rehabbing maybe a past injury or maybe an injury that's kind of popped up out of nowhere, whether it be from sport, training, just in general life, anywhere, but just some things to kind of check on to see if that may be the root cause of it. Okay, so the number one thing that I usually tell people to try to do a little bit more that will be causing a lot of these injuries that do kind of pop up out of nowhere, what it feels like, and it comes down to just having really tight muscles. So the reason why you're having a lot of shoulder, knee, hip pain a lot of the times, we'll say, especially if you have a job that you're sitting down. So if you're sitting down for a long period of time, essentially your short hip flexors here, they're getting shorter day by day as you're sitting down, okay? And so when muscles get extremely tight, and we'll say the leg muscles for this instance right here, the quads, the hamstrings, the glutes, the hip flexors, all that stuff, when those muscles, any and all of those muscles, if they get tight, they start pulling on the joints. So they start pulling on the hips, they start pulling on the knees, and they end up pulling them out of position, okay? So a lot of the times when we get this shoulder, hip, knee, whatever injury come out of nowhere, you have a lot of knee or hip pain, things like that. A lot of it is derived from the simple fact that you have let these tight muscles kind of spiral out of control. And I know we talked about this on a previous episode of the Daily as to what happens when those muscles spiral out of control, but this kind of just serves as kind of a follow-up to that one as to if you are currently experiencing some knee, hip, shoulder, whatever kind of pain, look at those muscles in and around that joint and look at maybe trying to stretch them out, loosen them up a little bit more. Whether that means a little bit more self-care on your part from, mashing out those muscles with some of the cross balls, foam rollers, things like that, and adding in a little bit more stretching into your routine, even if it's from, some stress we added to the muscles over the course of the period. We did some working out for a few days, and if we let those legs get tighter and tighter and tighter, not really stretch them out, then that's when we can start noticing a little bit of hip or knee pain, things like that. So even just doing a lot of stretching in and around those joint areas, can we pinpoint it down right now? Can I tell you if you have a knee problem what exactly to stretch? No, and it could be a little bit further deeper than that, but it's a great place to start. If you are having some knee pain issues, stuff like that, a great place to start is just stretching out all those muscles around the knee and just kind of maybe pinpointing down what is tighter than the rest and stretching them a little bit more often and see how that feels. And if we're not able to nail it down a little bit more from stretching itself, then it's always a great idea, and I always urge people to do that, is to go see a physiotherapist, chiropractor, something like that, and they'll be able to give you an excellent list of little exercises and stretches that you should be doing to stay on top of that mobility so that we can ideally work away from that pain wherever it might be, okay? But whether it's from working out in the gym or whether it's because you're sitting down all day, maybe it's from your job, you're hunched over all day, things like that, but when those muscles get tight, they tend to start pulling on those joints, whether it be pulling them out of position or lacking stability if we have weight overhead or weight on our back, squatting, things like that. So we need to make sure those muscles are not the root problem of why we have pain in all these joints, okay? I hope that helps, guys. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment on this thread here on the video here or send us a message. We'd love to answer your questions, but have a good one, guys. We'll see you guys back tomorrow again for another episode of The Daily.